What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a video of the tier list of the outfielders. I went ahead and did all the outfielders at once. I'm not going to break them down each individual position because they mostly can play all of the outfield positions. If you guys are new here, please make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel as we got plenty of content coming, all MLB The Show related. And I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Alright, so kicking things off, we have Aaron Judge, the live series card. Obviously, he's not supercharged anymore at the time of the screenshot. I got him supercharged. Aaron Judge, I'm going to be at C tier with. He's just simply put too tall for me. I don't think he's all that great, but I do think you can make him work just because of his power. Aaron Judge, C tier for me. Adolis, I'm going to put him a tier above Aaron Judge, B tier. I do like the fact that he can play defense really well. That's really about the only value he brings to me personally is his defense. His contact's not very good, his power's not very high, and his clutch is 101, so he does have that, but he plays exceptional defense, has decent enough speed in center field to play it. So that's kind of the only good thing that I think Adolis brings to the table for me personally, so I'm putting Adolis at B tier. Babe Ruth, I'm going to put him at A tier. Objectively speaking, I think you should be playing this card at first base or DH, just simply put, should not be in the outfield, but I recognize that he is a primary right fielder, so you have to recognize that fact as well. So he does bring the power to the table. He has really good bat. If you get him to parallel 5, I believe it is, you can actually get to Gold's fielding with him. So that is one thing that is good about Babe Ruth. He does have a decent arm. Personally, I am not running him in the outfield at all. You couldn't pay me to run him in the outfield. So I want him at first base or DH. I'm personally running him at DH. Cedric Mullins, I'm going to put him at B tier above Adolis Garcia. I think he's better than Adolis Garcia, and I think it's just because of his swing. That's really about it. The stats-wise, he's not better than Adolis, but I think that his overall swing is better than Adolis Garcia, which puts him above Adolis for me. And honestly, he has good fielding, he has good speed, so what else can you ask for out of a center fielder? Moving on to Charlie Blackmon, I'm going to put him in C tier. I do like Charlie's swing quite a bit. It's just he doesn't have really anything else other than that swing. He has reverse splits. He has a 99 arm, which is great and all, but I just don't think Charlie really fits the meta of the game right now. And I just think he's really good for a swing, so once again, I think he's kind of a DH option. We are going to be dropping a DH video after this one, probably comes Saturday as I'm recording this, so Friday maybe, something like that. So be on the look for that, but I don't think Charlie really fits this meta as great as you guys think. Christian Yelich, I'm going to put him in B tier. I'm going to put him ahead of all those guys. I prefer Yelich's swing to anybody, and he has better stats than both of them. He's not as good in the field, which is fine, because his hitting more than makes up for it. I really like Yelich's swing this year. It's really good, really solid. For as low as his stats are in the clutch, he still hits really well for me. I really like Christian Yelich. I always have, always will like his swing, so that's kind of my thing with him. Cody, I'm going to put him in C tier. I just don't think he's anything special. I don't think he's going to be able to play the outfield very well. I personally would not be running Cody Bellinger if I were you. I think there's much better options for cheaper. And on top of that, I just don't really think Cody Bellinger is the right fit for anybody's team. I think you can do a lot better than Cody Bellinger. That's just me. Corbin Carroll, he's going to go in A tier as well with Babe. I think that, you know, you could make a case for him to be lower, but I don't know that there's really a real reason for him to be lower. I really like Corbin Carroll just because of how fast he is. His swing is really good. He does have enough pop against righties, and with the righty-heavy meta, he does hit home runs quite often. Good speed, good fielding, good reaction. Not much more you can ask for out of a good left fielder like this. You can play him in center, I believe, and get away with it. Get him to parallel 2 and have the 90 fielding still. Or the parallel 3, I mean, my mistake. And have the 90 fielding. That's what I would do if I used Corbin Carroll, but I'm not using him right now. I think he's a solid card. I think he's definitely worth having on your squad. The only downfall really with Corbin Carroll is no quirks, which take that for what it is. I still think Corbin Carroll is a viable option in the outfield. Dave Parker, I'm going to put him at B tier as well, along with Yelich. I think they're even to me, personally. Dave Parker always has a decent swing for me. He doesn't have as much pop as Yelich, but he does have better defense and speed. So, well, not speed. He does have better defense, let's put it that way, and a better arm. So that kind of puts it even with me with him. His clutch is still really low, kind of like Yelich. I say really low, but it's a 93 and Yelich's is 98. I see a lot of similarities in these two. Dave's a lot taller, though, so that kind of stinks. But other than that, I mean, his fielding is better. You can get it to Diamond Shield at parallel 4. I do like Dave Parker quite a bit. Swing is solid, and I think he's not a bad option to have, honestly. But I don't think he's as good as the guys in A tier. David Justice, these three guys here are very similar in what they do. I just don't know that they're really one above the other. Kind of same with Reggie as well. I'm going to throw all these guys in the same tier, kind of, that are just good hitters or good fielders. They're not both. That's kind of what they are. They have good swings, and that's just what they are. They're from the left side as well. So they all kind of fit that range anyways. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. Jazz, I'm going to put him in A tier. I like Jazz Chisholm quite a bit. His fielding is good. His swing is pretty good. He can't hit lefties, so you do have to platoon him, in my opinion. But at the same time, I think that you can get away with him with the righty-heavy meta that we are in. I do like Jazz quite a bit. So he does play really good defense. He's one of the few guys I can say that about. So I do really like Jazz Chisholm quite a bit. Eric Davis, I'm going to put him in B tier as well. I think he's better than a lot of these guys. I think this is where I draw the line. So I like Eric Davis quite a bit. He was on my squad for some time for the first few weeks. I really liked the card, and honestly, his swing wasn't that bad. Usually it's his swing that gets him, and this year they actually did his swing okay, and I enjoyed using that card. So Eric Davis was one of those guys for me that could hit the ball. He has 110 clutch, so when people are on, it's even better. He does hit both sides pretty well. He does have more contact versus righties, which really helps. He has 121 contact versus righties, which is amazing. He does have decent enough fielding. He has speed to make up for that decent enough fielding. So that's kind of where I'm at with Eric Davis. I really do like him. He's a solid budget option, so if you guys need that, that's him right there. He can play the outfield and do all that. Tatis, I'm putting him at A tier. Like I said in the previous video, I'm not a huge fan of Tatis' swing. However, you have to recognize the fact that his stats are insanely good. He does have good clutch. He does have good fielding. Does have good speed. He is a 5-tool player. He could play anywhere in the outfield. So he is really good in that regard. I just personally am not a fan of his swing over the three guys I am going to put in S tier. One of them might surprise you guys a little bit, but that's okay. I think a lot of people are starting to come on to him. And we're actually going to skip to him now. Kyle Tucker. I'm going to put him in S tier. I love Kyle Tucker. This card is the only card still hitting like 430 or 440 for me still. I love Kyle Tucker. I've used him all the way up from rookie to Hall of Fame to legend. I've used him everywhere, and he just continuously rips the ball. He's amazing. His defense does leave a little bit to be desired because of his speed, but at the end of the day, honestly, you don't really see it. He does have a Diamond Shield at parallel 4. He has enough speed to get to baseballs in right field. You could play him in left if you want to lose out on the Diamond Shield. Personally, I don't. So I play him in right at his primary position. He hits the ball well, has good contact, good clutch, has a really, really, really good swing. I really like Kyle Tucker. That's why I have him in S tier. George Springer, we're going to put him in D tier. Not a huge fan of George Springer, but he is a overall okay player. I think he's good for being free. That's about it, though. And I think he could do a lot better than George Springer. Hank Aaron, we're going to put him in C tier. I would never use him in the outfield, as I said in the previous couple videos ago. I would not use him in the outfield. I would use him at third base if I had to use him. I think there's plenty of options better. He only matches lefties really well. He does hit righties good enough to play. I just would not be using him. I just think there's a lot better options out there. Juan Soto, I'm going to put him in C tier as well. He's one of those guys or B tier, my mistake, that has really good swing, but does not have fielding or speed at all. He's more so a DH than anything. But Juan Soto's swing does not belong any lower than B tier. So I'm going to put it like that. J-Rod, I'm going to put him in A tier with these guys. I think once we get more lefties, J-Rod's going to be a lot better. His reaction is the only thing holding him down on defense. He has good speed, has good pop, has good clutch. His swing is a little bit to be desired. I'm not a huge fan of that swing either, but that's where I'm at with J-Rod. Moving on to Ku, I'm going to put him in B tier. I think it's just because he's an all-around good fielder and hitter. So I think he's one of those guys that Jung-Hoo Lee is one of those guys that can play the field well, has decent enough pop to get it done, has good speed, can play anywhere in the outfield. He is a lefty bat, so that does help as well. I really like Jung-Hoo Lee, so that's kind of where I'm at with Jung-Hoo. I'm going to put him above these guys just because he does play defense and has decent enough pop, and I value defense in center field especially, so he belongs in B tier for me. Moving on to the next guy, the next two guys actually, I'm going to go ahead and put them up there and talk about each of them. S tier guys, Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Trout. Both play solid defense, both have really good bats, both have really good swings in my opinion. I think Ken Griffey is the best center fielder in the game right now. Lefty, with the righty-heavy meta, that works as well to his advantage. I think that he has really good quirks, he has good speed, he has good defense. I just think there's no way you can go wrong with Ken Griffey Jr. So that's kind of where I'm at with Ken Griffey Jr. Mike Trout, kind of a lot of the same things I just said about Ken Griffey, only from the right side. So that is a downfall right now. But I think we're going to get more lefties here pretty soon. So I want to be optimistic about that and say Mike Trout's going to get even better as time goes on. And he has reverse splits. So that is really good against the righties. He does swing the bat really well. I love Mike Trout. I always have loved his swing. He's one of the better guys in the game. At parallel 5, you can get him 2 diamond shield fielding in center field, which is super nice. His reaction is a little rough sometimes, but he is by far and away, I think, the second best outfielder next to King Tuck. Ricky Henderson, I'm going to put him in A tier right next to Corbin Carroll. He is the right-handed version of Corbin Carroll. That's about all I can really say about him. Good speed, good power, decent enough contact, decent enough everything there. I really like him. He has good defense. So Ricky Henderson, if you don't have him yet, he is a solid option. He belongs in A tier for me. Ronald Acuna, I'm going to put him in C tier. Yeah, I'm going to put him in C tier. I just don't think this Ronald Acuna is worth running anymore. I think there's plenty of better options out there. Ronald Acuna, they're going to make a better card for him eventually. I just don't think this is the time to get a Ronald Acuna in your lineup. They make like a Player of the Month card if they do something like that with him. Sure, but I don't think this is the card that you need to be running in your lineup. Ryan Braun, I'm going to put him at D tier just below Cody. And the only reason why is because he mashes lefties and there's no lefties in the game to mash and he has no defense. So he belongs in D tier along with Springer. Sosa, objectively he belongs in A, but I would like to put him in D as well. I hate Sosa's swing so much, but his defense makes up for it. He does okay as far as hitting goes. He's really good at hitting the opposite way. I don't think he's very good at pulling the baseball at all. That is just my opinion. I like Sosa for that regard. But other than that, defense and going the other way, I'm not a huge fan of Sosa. Tim Salmon, put him in D tier. I don't think he's an outfielder. I think he's a DH more so than anything. I'm not a huge fan of Tim Salmon. But if you want to run Tim Salmon because you're an Angels fan like myself, go at it. Be my guest. Torrey Hunter, he's going to go in B tier. He's going to go at the top of B tier. And that is not my Angels bias speaking. I actually like his swing a little bit. And on top of that, he plays good defense, has good speed. He does have the better lefty stats, but I can counter that and say he has 97 fielding and 94 reaction with 79 speed. That's really good for a righty bat out in the outfield, and he plays center really well. Like I said, I really like Torrey Hunter. His swing's okay for me. I rock out with this card, so that's where I would put Torrey Hunter. Trey, I'm going to put him at the top of A. He's really hard not to put in S. I like Trey Turner to a certain extent. He is very hit or miss for me. He either is really hitting the ball really well or really not hitting it at all. It's no in between with him. So it's either all or nothing with Trey quite a bit with me. I'm not a huge advocate for Trey Turner, but I know a lot of people are. So that's why he is making it high on my list. If it were up to me, there's a few guys there, swings that I'd prefer. Like, for example, I would prefer Corbin Carroll. I would prefer Ricky. I think I would prefer Jazz over Trey. A good platoon is to get Jazz and Trey together from that Set 1 program. That's a good platoon to have in your team if you want to run Jazz. So that's kind of where I'm at with Trey Turner. Vlad, the only reason he is going in B tier is because he is a designated hitter for me. If it were down to his swing, he would be an S tier card. I really like Vlad's swing. Sweet, it's pure, it's very good to swing with. And with the meta the way it is, it's only going to get better because there's going to be more lefties introduced into the game. So it's only going to get better with Vlad Sr. That is the conclusion of my outfield tier list. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment for what you guys want to see next. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.